The big ship came on a Tuesday. It hung in the sky over Seoul like a giant jewel. Captain Tae-ho Kim stood on the roof of the Earth Defense Force building, looking up with wide eyes. "It's so quiet," he said to no one. The ship was not like the scary alien ships in old movies. This one was pretty. It was made of what looked like crystal that caught the sunlight and made colors dance in the air. Tae-ho had been in the military for 15 years. He had seen war. He had faced death. But he had never felt the strange mix of fear and wonder that now filled his chest. His radio made a noise. "Captain, you need to come back inside," said a voice. It was Lieutenant Hana Park. "The alien ship is sending a message on all channels." In the control room, 20 people stood frozen, staring at screens. Hana's hands moved fast over her keyboard. "Play the message," Tae-ho ordered. His face showed nothing, but his heart beat fast. A strange voice filled the room. It was like water flowing over rocks, but with words. "We are the Nuren. We have watched Earth for many years. Now we must talk." Within 2 hours, fighter jets filled the sky around the alien ship. Soldiers with big guns filled the streets. On TV, a man in a suit told everyone to stay calm and stay home. But the Nuren did nothing scary. They just waited. 3 days later, the ship opened. A tall, thin being walked out. Its skin seemed to change colors as it moved. Blue, then green, then gold. It had no hair and 4 long fingers on each hand. Its eyes were big and golden. Earth sent its best people to meet the alien. Among them was Dr. Ma Young-song. She knew 7 Earth languages and had studied how aliens might think and talk. Ma Young was not tall or loud. People often didn't notice her in a room. But when she stepped forward and made sounds like the Nuren's water voice, everyone turned to look. The Nuren being tilted its head. It answered in its flowing language. Ma Young smiled and spoke again. "What is she doing?" asked the general. I think she's learning their language," said Tae-ho. "Right now, just by hearing it." Day after day, Ma Young talked with the Nuren. She slept only a few hours each night. She forgot to eat unless Tae-ho brought her food. "Their language is based on math and music," she told him one night. Her eyes were red from no sleep, but they shined with excitement. "It's beautiful, Tae-ho, and they're not what we feared." 1 week after the ship arrived, Ma Young stood before the United Nations. Leaders from every country watched her on screens. She looked small in her simple blue dress, but her voice was strong. "The Nuren have not come to hurt us," she said. "They have come because they need our help, and we need theirs." She took a deep breath and told Earth what the Nuren had shared with her. "Something is eating the stars, and our sun is next." The room was silent after Ma Young's words. Then everyone began to talk at once. "What do you mean, eating stars?" asked the woman from France. "How much time do we have?" asked the man from Kenya. The Nuren leader, who Ma Young called Yun, stepped forward. Its skin turned deep blue, a color of sadness. Ma Young had learned. "Show them," Ma Young said to Yun. Yun raised a 4-fingered hand. Light came from it and formed a picture in the air. Everyone gasped. The picture showed stars, but then dark shapes moved between them. Where the dark shapes went, stars died. "They are called the Void Makers," Ma Young said, speaking Yun's words. "They eat energy. They eat light. They have been moving through space for thousands of years. Now they are coming here." "How long do we have?" asked Tae-ho. 10 Earth years, Ma Young said. "Maybe less." World leaders met day and night for a week. Some people didn't believe the Nuren. Some were scared. Some wanted to fight the Void Makers alone. But Ma Young spoke to them all. She showed them the Nuren's proof. She told them of the Nuren's gifts. "The Nuren have amazing things," she said. "Ships that move faster than light. Materials stronger than anything on Earth. But they don't know how to fight. They have never had wars like we have." She looked at each person in the room. We need them. They need us. We must work together or we all die. 3 days later, the world said yes. The Earth-Niran Alliance was born. Niran ships brought strange materials to Earth. Human and Niran scientists worked together. Soon, new buildings rose, made of crystal-like stuff that could not break. Spaceships with both human and Niran parts were built. Mai Young was busy all the time. She helped humans and Nirans talk to each other. She learned more about Niran science than any other human. Taeho was made the leader of the first human Niran space fleet, 20 ships that would protect Earth. He was proud but worried. One night, he found Mai Young on a balcony, looking at the stars. She looked tired. "Do you really trust them?" he asked. Mai Young was quiet for a long time. "Yes," she said. "They could have just taken what they wanted from Earth. They didn't have to tell us about the danger. But they did." Taeho stepped closer to her. "But we've only known them for 2 months. How can we be sure?" Mai Young turned to him. In the moonlight, her eyes seemed to shine gold for a second, like Niran eyes. "I know it's hard," she said, "but I feel it, Taeho. The Niran are good. They want to help us." What Taeho didn't say was that he was most worried about Mai Young. She was spending more time with the Niran than with humans now. She was changing in small ways that others might not see. And he was starting to think that both humans and Nirans were becoming too dependent on her. 6 months passed. The new ships were ready, but getting humans and Nirans to work together was hard. Human soldiers did not understand Niran ways. The crystal ships were part alive and needed to be asked, not ordered. Humans wanted to train for battle, but Nirans did not know how to fight. "Fire again," Taeho ordered during practice. The human gunner pressed the button. Nothing happened. "The ship doesn't want to," said the Niran helper. Taeho tried not to show his anger. "We can't ask nicely in the middle of a battle," he said. Nirans also did not understand human ways. They were shocked when humans talked about acceptable losses in war plans. To Nirans, every life was a world that could not be lost. "We need a bridge," Taeho said to the Earth leaders. "Someone who can help us understand each other better." Everyone knew who that someone was. Mai Young. Mai Young made a new computer system. It helped humans talk to Nirans and to the living ships. She worked day and night. She did not go home to sleep. Taeho found her one night, sleeping at her desk. He put his coat over her shoulders. As he did, he saw something strange. Words in the Niran language were on her computer screen, but she had not been typing. The words were coming from her mind while she slept. The next day, Dr. Jinwoo Baek came to Taeho's office. Jinwoo was the head doctor for the Earth Niran project. "We need to talk about Mai Young," Jinwoo said. His face was worried. "I did tests on her yesterday. Her brain is changing." "Changing how?" Taeho asked. Jinwoo showed him pictures of Mai Young's brain. "See these parts that glow? Human brains don't do that. And she hasn't slept more than 3 hours a night in weeks. No human can do that." Taeho went to find Mai Young. She was in the big room where the Niran taught humans about their technology. 5 Nirans stood around her. They all had their hands near her head, not touching, but close. Light moved between their fingers and Mai Young's head. "Mai Young," Taeho called. She turned. For a second, her eyes were fully gold, like a Niran's eyes. Then they went back to normal. "Oh, Taeho," she said with a small smile. "We're making good progress." That night, Taeho took Mai Young to dinner. He made her leave the base. They sat in a small restaurant in the city. "When was the last time you ate real food?" he asked. Mai Young looked at her soup like she didn't know what it was. "I don't remember," she said. "Jinwoo is worried about you," Taeho said. "I'm worried too. You're changing, Mai Young." She was quiet for a long time. "I know," she finally said. "The Nirans are sharing with me their knowledge. But it's more than that. It's like they're sharing their minds." "Is that safe?" Taeho asked. I don't know, she said. Her voice shook a little. But we don't have time to do this the slow way. The Void Makers are coming faster than we thought. They'll be here in 6 years, not 10. That night, Ma Young dreamed. She saw stars dying, billions of miles away. She saw dark shapes moving through space. She saw Earth burning. She woke up screaming words in the Neuron language that no human had ever spoken before. The changes in Ma Young got faster. Her skin began to glow softly in the dark. She could read and understand things at amazing speed. She started to make new weapons by mixing Neuron crystal science with human ideas. Military leaders were happy about the new weapons, but Taeho and Jinwoo worried about their friend. Jinwoo showed Taeho new test results in his office. "Look at this," he said, pointing to a picture of cells. "These are Ma Young's cells from last month." He showed another picture. "These are her cells now. They're changing. Her DNA is changing." "Is it hurting her?" Taeho asked. Jinwoo shook his head. "I don't think so. But I don't understand what's happening. This is beyond human science." The Neurons were also surprised by Ma Young's changes. They watched her with their golden eyes. They talked to her for hours in their water-like language. Sometimes, they seemed almost afraid of what was happening to her. One day, Ma Young was working with a group of human and Neuron scientists. Suddenly, she stopped talking and looked up. "Something's coming," she said. Her voice was flat. "What do you mean?" asked one of the humans. Ma Young walked to a computer. Her hands moved over it, but she didn't touch the keys. The screen changed anyway. It showed the edge of the solar system. "There," she said, pointing to an empty spot on the screen. "The first scout is there." The humans looked at each other in confusion. The screen showed nothing. Then, slowly, a small dark shape appeared on the screen, right where Ma Young had pointed. Alarms began to sound. The computers had finally seen what Ma Young had somehow known was there. "It's a Void Maker scout ship," said Eun, the Neuron leader. Its skin had turned white with fear. "How did you know?" Ma Young didn't answer. She just stood there, looking at the screen, her eyes now fully gold. Taeho gave orders. 2 Neuron human ships were sent to stop the scout. The battle was short. The scout ship was destroyed, but everyone knew what it meant. The Void Makers were coming earlier than expected. That night, Taeho found Ma Young on the space station's observation deck. She was looking out at the stars. "You knew that ship was coming," he said. "How?" Ma Young turned to him. Her face was the same, but something in her eyes had changed. They glowed softly in the dim light. "I can feel them," she said. "The Void Makers. It's like they make holes in space, in life. I can feel those holes." "What's happening to you?" Taeho asked quietly. Ma Young held out her hand. Taeho took it. Her skin was warm but felt like it was moving slightly, vibrating with strange energy. "The Neurons don't just talk with sounds," she said. "They share thoughts, memories, knowledge. When they teach me their language, they're also sharing their minds with me, and it's changing me." "Is it dangerous?" "Maybe," she said. "But it might be our only chance, Taeho. I can see things now, understand things. No other human can do what I can do." Taeho looked into her golden eyes. "Are you afraid?" Ma Young smiled a sad smile. "That's the strangest part," she whispered. "I'm not afraid at all. And that scares me more than anything." Word about Ma Young's changes spread. People talked about her in whispers. Some were afraid. Some were angry. "She's not human anymore," said an Earth leader at a meeting. "How can we trust her?" Others defended her. "She's helping us. Without her, we can't talk to the Neurons. We can't use their technology." The fight grew bigger. People around the world saw videos of Ma Young. They saw her golden eyes. They saw her skin glow. Some religious groups said she was evil. Others said she was blessed. The Neurons also had mixed feelings. Some thought Ma Young was the next step in life. a joining of both kinds. Others worried she was losing what made her special. A bridge stands between two sides, said a Nurin teacher. It is not one side or the other. But Mai Young was changing more every day. She could talk to Nurin ships with her mind. She could see energy flows that humans couldn't see. She could fix problems in seconds that would take others days. Military leaders, both human and Nurin, needed Mai Young. With her help, the space fleet grew stronger. Ships moved faster. Weapons hit harder. Taeho found himself defending Mai Young more and more. She's still Mai Young, he told the Earth Defense Council. Her heart is the same. She's loyal to Earth. But in quiet moments, he wondered if that was still true. The woman he had known, smart, kind, and very human, was becoming something else. Something no one had seen before. One day, a group of people broke into the base. They carried signs saying, "Humans only," and "No aliens." They wanted to hurt Mai Young. "She's a traitor," they shouted. "She's becoming one of them." Taeho's security team stopped them, but not before they got close to the lab where Mai Young worked. Not before Mai Young saw their angry faces pressed against the glass. That night, Mai Young came to Taeho's office. Her face was sad but calm. "I need to leave Earth," she said. "What? Why?" Taeho stood up fast. "You know why," Mai Young said softly. "People are afraid of me. My being here is hurting the Alliance." "We can protect you," Taeho said. "Those people were just a small group." Mai Young shook her head. "It's not just them. I see how people look at me now. I hear what they say when they think I can't hear." She touched her ear. "I can hear much more now." "Where will you go?" Taeho asked. "The Nurins have invited me to their mothership. I can work there. I can still help both sides." Taeho wanted to argue more. He wanted to tell her not to go, but he saw in her golden eyes that her mind was made up. The next day, against the wishes of many Earth leaders, Mai Young left with 3 Nurin scientists. Their small ship rose into the sky, growing smaller until it was just a point of light among the stars. Taeho watched from the control room window. Something inside him broke as the ship disappeared. Something he hadn't known was there until it was gone. Word about Mai Young's changes spread. People talked about her in whispers. Some were afraid. Some were angry. "She's not human anymore," said an Earth leader at a meeting. "How can we trust her?" Others defended her. "She's helping us. Without her, we can't talk to the Nurins. We can't use their technology." The fight grew bigger. People around the world saw videos of Mai Young. They saw her golden eyes. They saw her skin glow. Some religious groups said she was evil. Others said she was blessed. The Nurins also had mixed feelings. Some thought Mai Young was the next step in life, a joining of both kinds. Others worried she was losing what made her special. "A bridge stands between two sides," said a Nurin teacher. "It is not one side or the other." But Mai Young was changing more every day. She could talk to Nurin ships with her mind. She could see energy flows that humans couldn't see. She could fix problems in seconds that would take others days. Military leaders, both human and Nurin, needed Mai Young. With her help, the space fleet grew stronger. Ships moved faster. Weapons hit harder. Taeho found himself defending Mai Young more and more. "She's still Mai Young," he told the Earth Defense Council. "Her heart is the same. She's loyal to Earth." But in quiet moments, he wondered if that was still true. The woman he had known, smart, kind, and very human, was becoming something else. Something no one had seen before. One day, a group of people broke into the base. They carried signs saying, "Humans only," and "No aliens." They wanted to hurt Mai Young. "She's a traitor," they shouted. "She's becoming one of them." Taeho's security team stopped them, but not before they got close to the lab where Mai Young worked. Not before Mai Young saw their angry faces pressed against the glass. That night, Mai Young came to Taeho's office. Her face was sad but calm. "I need to leave Earth," she said. What? Why? Taiho stood up fast. You know why? My Young said softly. People are afraid of me. My being here is hurting the Alliance. We can protect you, Taiho said. Those people were just a small group. My Young shook her head. It's not just them. I see how people look at me now. I hear what they say when they think I can't hear. She touched her ear. I can hear much more now. Where will you go? Taiho asked. The Nurans have invited me to their mothership. I can work there. I can still help both sides. Taiho wanted to argue more. He wanted to tell her not to go, but he saw in her golden eyes that her mind was made up. The next day, against the wishes of many Earth leaders, My Young left with 3 Nuran scientists. Their small ship rose into the sky, growing smaller until it was just a point of light among the stars. Taiho watched from the control room window. Something inside him broke as the ship disappeared. Something he hadn't known was there until it was gone. 2 years passed. Earth and the Nurans built more ships and weapons. They trained together. They made plans, but they missed My Young. Taiho was now Admiral of Earth's defense fleet. He worked closely with the Nurans but could never understand them as well as My Young had. One day, all the alarms on Earth and on the space stations went off at once. The long-range sensors had found something terrible. A huge group of dark ships moving toward the solar system. The Void Makers were coming. How many? Taiho asked the sensor officer. Hundreds, the woman said, her face pale. Maybe thousands. The Earth-Nuran Joint Defense Council met right away. Military leaders from both sides looked at the sensor data with grim faces. We need to send a message to My Young, said the Nuran leader. Yun. We need her help. Some Earth leaders didn't like this idea, but they were afraid. They said yes. 3 days later, a Nuran ship appeared near Earth. When it landed, My Young walked out, but she was not the same. Her body seemed to shift and change as she moved, like she was partly in another world. Her skin glowed with patterns that looked like stars. She spoke rarely, using a special device that the Nurans had made to share her thoughts. The Defense Council gathered to hear her. Taiho sat at the front, trying not to show how shocked he was by My Young's changes. My Young stood before them. Her golden eyes moved over each face. The Void Makers are worse than we thought, she said through the device. Her voice sounded strange. They don't just destroy stars. They eat the very memory of the universe. The room was silent. No one understood. Every star holds information in its light. My Young explained. All that has happened since the beginning of time. The Void Makers are eating that information. She touched her device and showed them a new plan. It was bold and scary. She would use herself as a link between human and Nuran technology to make a wall around the solar system. A wall made of quantum energy that the Void Makers could not pass. It will take all of our ships working together, she said. And it will take me. What do you mean, take you? Taiho asked. His voice was sharper than he meant it to be. My Young looked at him with eyes that still held the woman he had known. I will need to fully join with both human and Nuran systems, she said. My mind will spread across the network. The room erupted in questions. People asked if it would hurt her, if she would survive, if there was another way. My Young was quiet until they stopped talking. Then she said, I don't know if I will survive as My Young, but I know this is our only chance. The vote was quick. Earth and the Nurans would try My Young's plan. They had no better ideas. As people left the room, Taiho stayed behind. He finally spoke to My Young alone. There must be another way, he said. My Young's shifting form moved closer to him. If there was, I would have found it, she said gently. You need to focus on the fleet, Taiho. Don't worry about me. But Taiho knew he would worry. He would worry about nothing else. The combined fleet of Earth and Nuran ships formed a big circle around the edge of the solar system. Altogether, they had 300 ships. But the Void Makers had many more. At the center of the fleet was a special ship. It was bigger than the others and was made of both human and Neuron technology. Inside this ship was the quantum core, a room filled with crystals and computers where Ma Young would try to link with all the systems. Jin Woo checked Ma Young one last time as she prepared. He had been watching her health for years. He placed small sensors on her head and arms. "You still have human parts," he told her. "Your heart still beats. Your brain still works like a human brain. Mostly. But I don't know what will happen when you fully connect to the systems." Ma Young nodded. "Take care of Taiho," she said quietly. "He will blame himself if this goes wrong. Tell him it was my choice." Jin Woo looked at her with sad eyes. "I will." On the bridge of his command ship, Taiho watched the screens. The Void Makers were close now. Their ships looked like holes in space. Not black, but empty. Looking at them hurt the eyes. "All ships report ready," said his second-in-command. Taiho took a deep breath. "Begin Operation Quantum Shield." In the quantum core, Ma Young sat in a chair surrounded by crystals. Thin wires connected her to the computers. Neuron scientists stood around her, their hands making patterns in the air. Ma Young closed her golden eyes. She felt her mind stretch out, touching first the ship around her, then the nearby ships, then ships farther away. It didn't hurt. It felt like becoming bigger, wider, more. The Void Makers attacked. Their first wave hit the outer line of ships. Those ships fired back, but many were hit. Some exploded. Some just went dark. "We're losing the outer line," someone shouted on Taiho's bridge. Taiho stayed calm. "Hold position. Give Ma Young time." For 3 days, the battle raged. Human bravery and Neuron technology won small fights, but they were losing the bigger war. More and more ships were destroyed or damaged. Taiho had not slept. He stood on his bridge, giving orders, watching his people die. Then he heard Ma Young's voice in his mind. "I'm ready," she said. Around the solar system, a soft light began to grow. It looked like a bubble made of light that wrapped around all the planets. The Void Maker ships tried to break through it, but they couldn't. "The shield is working," people shouted. Some cried with relief. But Taiho heard Ma Young's voice again in his mind. "I can hold them, but not for long. You need to hit their main ship." Taiho looked at the screens. "There," he said, pointing to a ship bigger than the others. "That's their command ship. All working ships, target that point." Human missiles guided by Neuron sensors flew through space. They hit the big Void Maker ship at the same time. It broke apart, then imploded. The other Void Maker ships seemed confused. Some crashed into each other. Some turned away. The quantum shield flashed once, blindingly bright, then disappeared. Taiho felt something break in his mind, like a connection being cut. "Ma Young," he whispered. In the quantum core, the chair was empty. Ma Young was gone. The Void Makers ran away, but there was little joy. Humans and Neurons had won, but at a great cost. Many ships were broken. Many good people were dead, and Ma Young was gone. A week after the battle, a big meeting was held on Earth. Leaders from all countries and Neuron groups came to talk about what had happened and what to do next. "We should make a statue of Dr. Song," said one leader. "She saved us all." "We should name a new ship after her," said another. But Taiho, who sat quietly at the back of the room, did not believe Ma Young was truly gone. "She didn't die," he told Jin Woo later that day. "She turned into something else. Her mind went into the quantum field. We need to find her and bring her back." Most people thought Taiho was just sad. They thought he couldn't accept that Ma Young was dead. But a small group of human and Neuron scientists listened to him. "The quantum information that made up Dr. Song's mind cannot be destroyed," said a Neuron scientist named Rin. "It might have spread out, but we might be able to find it and bring it back together." Taiho took time off from his military job. He and a team of 6 scientists built a special machine. It could scan space for traces of Ma Young's unique brain pattern. Jin Woo went with Taho. He worried about his friend's health. "You need to think about what happens if we don't find her," he said gently one night. "Or if we find her, but she's not, like she was before." Taho looked at Jin Woo with tired eyes. She found a way to talk between 2 kinds of people who had nothing in common. "She'll find a way back to us." For 3 months, they followed weak signals across the solar system. Strange things happened around them. Sometimes computers would turn on by themselves. Sometimes they would get message fragments that made no sense. Sometimes they would hear what sounded like Ma Young's voice, but far away. One day, they were checking Jupiter's moons. Their machine started to beep loudly when they scanned Europa, a moon covered in ice. "There's something here," said Rin, looking at the screen. "A strong quantum pattern. It matches Ma Young's brain waves." They landed on Europa. The surface was white ice as far as they could see. They set up their equipment and began more detailed scans. "This is amazing," whispered Rin. "She's everywhere on this moon. Not just in one spot, but in the very structure of the ice." Through careful work, they made a way to talk to whatever was in the ice. At first, they just got simple pulses of energy back, then more complex patterns, and finally, words came through their speakers. "Taho," said Ma Young's voice. "You found me." Taho's hands shook as he spoke into the microphone. "Ma Young, is it really you?" "Yes and no," her voice answered. "I'm Ma Young, but I'm also more now." She explained that when the quantum shield broke, her mind had spread out across space, but slowly it had pulled itself together again around Europa. The moon had a huge ocean under its ice, a place that was between worlds, not fully solid or liquid. "Can we bring you back?" Taho asked. "Back to human form." There was a long pause before Ma Young answered. "I don't think I want to come back. Not like I was before. I've become something more. Something needed." A team of the smartest people from Earth and the Nurin came to Europa. They studied the strange thing that had happened, a mind that had printed itself on the tiny parts of Europa's ice. "She is in the very atoms," said Rin with wonder. "Not just in one place, but becoming part of everything here." They worked day and night to make better ways to talk to Ma Young. First, they made a simple radio. Then they built bigger machines that could pick up more of her thoughts. "Why Europa?" Taho asked one day. "Why did you come here?" "The ocean," Ma Young's voice said through the speakers. "There's a huge ocean under this ice. It's a place between states. Not solid, not gas, but liquid. Like I am between states now. Not human, not Nurin, but something else." Ma Young told them that her mind now worked across many dimensions. She could see things that neither humans nor Nurins could see alone. "The Void Makers were just the first danger," she said. "There are other things coming, things no one could see without me." "What kind of things?" Jin Woo asked. "Hard to explain," Ma Young's voice said. "Like trying to tell a flat picture about what 3 dimensions look like. But I can watch for them. I can warn you." Over the next few months, humans and Nurins built a permanent base on Europa. They called it Song Station. Scientists from both species worked together to make better ways to talk with Ma Young's expanded mind. Taho split his time between Earth and Europa. He was still admiral of the fleet, but he was also the main person who talked to Ma Young. No one else had quite the same connection with her. The relationship was strange, unlike anything in human history. It was deeply personal, but not physical. It was both more and less than human love. One evening, as the sun set over Europa's icy plains, Taho sat alone in the communication room. "Do you ever miss being human?" he asked quietly. There was a long pause before Ma Young answered. "I miss some things. Food, touch, sleep, and dreams. But I experience so much more now, Taho. I can feel the movements of planets. I can see the dance of quantum particles. I can watch light move." Another pause. And I can still feel emotions. That's the most human part that stayed with me. Taeho looked out the window at the endless ice. They feared nothing until they feared losing you, he said. Both our species. You became the thing we couldn't stand to lose. The speakers hummed softly. Fear isn't always bad. My Young's voice said gently. Sometimes it teaches us what truly matters. In the years that followed, humans and neurons grew closer. Together they built cities in space. Together they explored distant worlds. At first, they stayed near Earth, but slowly they moved farther out among the stars. And watching over them was the guardian consciousness of Europa. No longer fully human or neuron, but something new. A bridge between worlds that had once feared each other. Earth leaders and neuron leaders would come to Europa when big decisions needed to be made. They would ask My Young for her thoughts that could see across dimensions and time. But Taeho came for different reasons. He came to sit in the quiet room and talk with the woman who had saved two species and become something more than either. Will you always be here? He asked once. Not always in this form, she answered, but always connected to you. And that was enough.